What's going on, guys? Been super long time since I've done a live Q&A video, and hopefully I'll be able to see questions, comments that you guys put down there. But what I want to talk about is something I haven't done for a long time with the training, and now that I'm at Rutgers, our weight room is basically housed and situated right next to like a quote unquote normal gym. So 3 times a week before I train the guys, I'll go in and do a bodybuilding workout, and it's been going great. I'm doing leg extensions, leg curls, leg presses, a lot of lat pull downs, a lot of tricep work, face pulls, and I've put muscle back on, which I haven't done, for a while. I think my body was craving some of these, the repetition work from the bodybuilding methods. And my left shoulder, even with a torn labrum, has been feeling much, much better. I still don't do benching or dumbbell benching. It's mostly push-ups, but doing a lot of lower body, a lot of pulling, a lot of arm work. So it's been great. And I think that, bodybuilding in itself gets a bad rap. But when I'm training, I'm actually training in a circuit. So yesterday I did leg extension, leg curl, leg press. I think I did like 4 sets of that. And then when I got to my heaviest weight on the leg press, 7 plates on each side, I did 3 sets of 5, which was bad because I think about what I was doing in my 20s. I was doing usually like 12 plates each side for 20 to 30 reps. Tells you what level of strength I was at about half my lifetime ago. When I was doing the heavy leg presses, I was doing tricep pushdowns, face pulls, and chin-ups. So just keeping that stuff like right inside the rack. When I'm done with that training, I'll go and do what many people would maybe call the functional work. So what I did was I carried the water-filled kegs and the heavy medicine balls to the wrestling room. So my functional stuff was all farmer walks. So we carried 80 and 100-pound med balls, 80 to 100-pound kegs, got a 150-pound medicine ball in the wrestling room, utilize that. And let's say I'll do maybe a free weight exercise. It might be sumo deadlifts. I'll work up to like a heavy 5, a heavy triple, a heavy single. Then I'll drop down in weight and do some speed work. So I'll do this bodybuilding work. And also what really inspired me to get back to some of that was listening to Matt Wenning's interview on Mark Bell's Powercast. He was just talking about doing very lightweight for this kind of joint integrity, getting the joints and the connective tissue prepared because you're building up tonnage. So if you're, benching 50-pound dumbbells and you get 100 reps, 50 times 100 is that 50,000 or 5,000? So you're moving the tonnage because of all the volume that you're getting. So my body needed that, and it's feeling pretty good. There's certainly parts of my body that are banged up, and I believe they're more so banged up from more of the combative sports than they are from the lifting. So food for thought, for those of you that are thinking about, do I need to do some different training? Do I need some bodybuilding work? 8 years ago or so, I released the course Bodyweight Bodybuilding, and to me that was a great break for my body, something I thought I was going to do for like 4 or 6 weeks, and I did it for 6 months, and I remember saying I'm not going to touch a barbell until my body tells me it's ready to. So somewhere around that like 2-month mark, I deadlifted, and I remember my back just felt destroyed. So I was just going to playgrounds and doing all kinds of hand walking on the parallel bars, a lot of push-ups, pull-ups, dips, sprinting. I was mountain biking, surfing that summer. I felt great. And I got back to the free weights when my body said, boom, you're ready for it. So good stuff. Kenny Pipes says, awesome. That's a cool last name, Kenny Pipes. Hopefully you have like 20-inch biceps. What questions do you guys have? Has anybody got any training questions or questions on anything that's going on? Annabelle, hope you're doing great. Hope you're still training the girls wrestling team. It looks like women's wrestling is taking off. I saw stuff on Flow with John Smith, I think, starting to train some of the women. So, of course, Helen Maroulis, beyond impressive. So really cool to see that stuff. Kenny Pipes, so you don't have 20-inch arms. Well, now you know what you got to work on. Rich Fricker. Whoop, there we go. I think one thing I'm seeing now with the update to this, guys, is I could do these live videos and I could invite somebody to be a guest with me, almost the way I do my podcast side by side. So would love to see if any of you guys got questions on training. I want to show you guys something. I don't know how long some of you guys have been following me for, but let's take a look here. We got all this stuff here. So I'm going to show you guys, moving some stuff off the desk. How do I turn this around? Annabelle, thanks for sharing the video. Here's a program that put out with my buddy Jason C. Brown 12 years ago, maybe longer. Actually interviewed Kenneth J. back in the day. And this program was a physical product I used to sell. And what I'm doing with all my physical products is we're going to get them converted onto just, streaming video. Interview with John Hines. Strength and conditioning interrogations. This is a PDF. And this will go inside the Underground Strength Academy, undergroundstrengthcoach.com. I'm going to get that transcribed or transferred over. Manny, what's happening, buddy? Hope you're doing great. I'm sure you are. Staying tough. Invite him. Cool, man. I see Nate Dogg from Florida. Got some Underground Strength coaches that signed on. Hope you guys are doing great. I'll be hitting the road soon, taking my daughter up to her tennis and running my gym today. We've got Labor Day weekend, and for those of you guys that know, I'm in a small beach town, so we get massive traffic in this area with everybody that's coming through. We're supposed to get rain, so I'm not sure what my plans are. Usually the plan of a married man is you say, whatever my wife wants to do. Any questions, guys? Training, strong life, business stuff, whatever you got. John Mejia Ortiz, welcome, brother. Not sure how I could invite more people to this. Invite friends to watch. Not sure how this stuff works. Really should just wish I could invite everybody. Kenny, what's up, buddy? I usually don't do any drop-ins at the Underground because you just never know who's dropping in. You never know if they actually know how to lift. Am I going to be coaching this person, which takes away from the coaching of somebody who's paying, who's been with me for months or years? Sometime in the beginning of summer, some random guy just literally walked into the gym with a gym bag and said, hey, man, I'm from out of town. And I wanted to train here. That's how he said it. He didn't say, I'll pay, this and that. And it's not the money, it's how he did it. And I was like, okay, what do we're training right now, and we're pretty busy. I said, let these guys finish the set, and I'll give you this platform right here. We got that deadlift platform you guys see. And he's like, what about a bench? I'm benching today. I mean, the guy was really just being pretty rude, and that's putting it lightly. I said, we're not a public gym. I don't even know who you are, and I'm training these kids, As I always say, the kids are number one. He's like, don't worry about it. I'll just go somewhere else, like he was doing me a favor. In moments like that, guys, I lose faith in humans. It's like I don't even want to be around people. And then nice people like you dropping comments, being nice, I like that. You like the idea of an Underground Strength Coach gathering, similar seminar posted on your... Hey, Zach, I like the idea of the USC get-together seminar. Yeah, dude, I did a Underground Strength conference, but I like more of that kind of informal gathering that gives it more of like a golden era feel where you guys come and train and deadlift and, it's very nonchalant. Nobody's really teaching. We're just kind of sharing and stuff like that. What's happened really the past 2 years is my kids are at that age where now they're competing in sports. And our weekends are crazy, so tons of traveling with them. and also training the Rutgers wrestling team has certainly just made things hectic. So that's kind of like putting it lightly. But I'd like to just find a way to make it happen. Kenny, where are you located, buddy? And if you know how to train and you want to swing by the underground, email me, message me, whatever works. I'm also not sure what location you're thinking of. Program design tips, sets, reps to prescribe, out of shape versus in shape. Manny, one of like the simplest ways to do this, and I mean this could work for athletes as well. If it's sport athletes, you give an athletic warm-up. Movement prep, jumping, sprinting, med ball throws. Then you could do like a heavy, medium, light. Or your first lift is the main lift. It's either speed work or heavy lifting. Then you do something with like moderate rep ranges. Let's just go, for example, yesterday the guys did volume work. They did floor press they benched and one arm row, 6 sets of 6. So that was kind of like their medium heavy work, volume work. From there, they did carries and seesaw press, overhead seesaw press. Seesaw press was 6 reps. It's moderate. They could have probably done 8 to 12s. Then we do our rep work, which is the circuit training, which is going to be arms, back extensions, sleds. If I'm a bodybuilder or really training adults, maybe it's a 5x5. Then I'm going to do like 2 to 3 sets of 6 to 12 reps of kind of like a secondary movement. Then I'm going to do some circuit work at the end for 15 to 20. So heavy, medium, light. And that's a simple way to do it. Sorry about that, guys. A little phone call. If it's somebody who's out of shape, I'm just getting them to move. And I want to do it. I want to focus on consistency. So I'm not going to crush them. The kind of my way of thinking for them is you're gonna be done before you're done. So I want you to come back. I want you to leave with 10% energy in the tank. I want you to, feel like you could go take a walk after dinner. So we're not gonna crush them. Also, I say this, I don't have adults training with our athletes because that's how adults get hurt. You got somebody who's 35 or 45 looking at a 16-year-old, and the 45-year-old's like, I could do that. You can't do that, and you don't want to do that. So when you're 45, you don't want to train like you're, 16 or even 25. Training athletes, percentage of their PRs. We kind of, Michael, what's up, buddy? I don't really do like percent of the PRs, but if I recommend a percent, it's more like an RPE. So guys, we're going to do a 5x3, and it should feel like it's about 60 to 70% of your 1 rep max. And that 1 rep max changes. It's always evolving. Manny, you got it. Daniel says, following you a long time. You and a few others have influenced me. I've started my own small facility. Thank you. Good for you, Daniel. I oftentimes consider closing my facilities. I lose faith in humans. It's a long story, but sometimes I say, man, I should have just, when you're passionate about something, sometimes it's a very good thing to go into business on it. Sometimes your passion, creating it into a business, destroys that passion. So a lot of stuff running through my head. Today I asked, I sent out a newsletter through my Zach Evnish blog. If you guys aren't on it, make sure you hit it up. ZachEvnish.com, hit the Start Here tab. I said, what would you guys like? These are my ideas. And one of the coaches I've known for a very long time replied and said, I just want you to be happy. And I was like, whew, heavy. That is heavy right there. Daryl Dansby, welcome aboard. The Swamp Man. James Diamond, Martin Alexander McQuaid. Excellent. What's happening, everybody? I got to cut out probably in about 5 minutes. So hopefully some of you guys have questions. And how many of you have seen the recent blog? Check out these amazing photos. Look at this photo of Arnold, Franco, and Joseph Wilkos. I believe you could see by Arnold's legs not that jacked up. That's preparation for the 80s. 1980 Mr. Olympia. Iron memories and lessons learned from gyms and weight rooms. Check out these photos, guys. Arnold on a high incline press with Dave Draper spotting. Look at Dave, pretty jacked up. And look at this photo. This is the first, photo. I'm a big fan of Dave Draper and a big fan of the Golden Era lifters, how they were built. They were just looked like these guys were carved out of stone, just super inspiring. Not all, juiced up like the bodybuilders of today. And you could see it says Combat Grappler. So that went up in the garage. And when I first opened the garage, it was all wrestlers. And the name of the business was Combat Grappler. It's craziness. Look at this old photo. When I take photos today, I think back to these photos of the 70s. These photos really it's like there was a story. You could just look at it and be so inspired. It just blows my mind. Those photos, they were just amazing. The angle, the intensity, amazing. Now, a little history I didn't know about Bob Zuver. And if you guys don't know of Zuver's gym, go to Google Images. You will see the most amazing gym. Everything was oversized. Bob Zuver was part of one of the earliest UDT teams, underwater demolition teams. That was the precursor name to Navy SEALs. I believe he was part of UDT team number 4. Just, guys, Google image Zuver's gym. I will leave it at that. The gorilla in front of his gym just blows my mind. Just around, guys. Gabriel, any immediate thoughts about the email you sent out this morning? Yeah, Gabriel, the tough thing is my schedule, legitimately, is my kids and all their sport activities. It makes it very hard for me to feel like it's okay to leave and hold some sort of event or conference or seminar. There's a big part of me. I like what you're doing, Gabriel. For probably 2, 3, 4 years now, I'm really, really thinking about going back to teaching. It sounds so crazy, but there's something pure and simple about it that I miss. I'm not a fan of, the complicated technology and websites and this and that. I'm more of the simple guy who's like, just be great at what you do. But that's just not enough. And I'm not so sure I want to live in that lane, even though that's the reality of today. I've kind of, for a week or 10 days, I deleted my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, and I'll probably put it all back up after Labor Day. Right now, I just communicate on those outlets. Facebook, I put on the live here, but the Twitter, I have on my computer. So somebody emailed me today saying they didn't realize they Instagram messaged me, thought I didn't get it. And I was like, yeah, I deleted it for a week. So sometimes if you don't get back to people right away, they think you're dead. So Swamp Man, have a good lunch. Youth wrestling program, good for you, my friend. You're out in Texas, I think. I can't remember where you're at. And you're in Mississippi or New Orleans somewhere. Dan says, how do you condition athletes in the off season versus in season? So Dan, look at what your athletes are doing and don't repeat it. So if you're training football players who are linemen, you're probably going to do some bodybuilding work for the upper body. You're going to be careful with the wrists and high impact. If you're training, like a safety, a wide receiver who's doing sprinting, their leg work is going to drop the volume. You're not going to kill their legs. Your upper body could likely get worked pretty hard. In-season wrestlers, not too much conditioning because their conditioning should be done through hard wrestling, hard drilling. So think of what's going on with them and know what they're doing outside of your gym so you're not overdoing those movements. A couple minutes here. Kenny Pipes. Just remember that your passion motivates a lot of us. I'm a martial arts guy, but I've been trying to input more conditioning into the training, trying to get my small training group to follow suit. I think a lot of self-defense is confidence, strength, and what you preach crosses over. Hope this rambling makes sense. Yes, I appreciate you, my man. I definitely confidence to me is like when you do the right things in your training, you can compete at a higher level. You know, Coach Reeve, when he wrestled in the 70s, I said, what were you thinking about when you would wrestle? He goes, you know, Zach, I'd be on the other side of that mat warming up, getting ready, and I just knew that guy across from me didn't outwork me. He goes, I knew I was going to win. And that's an amazing kind of confidence to have. Do you think they are good for wrestlers or a football player? Andrew, what was your question, buddy? I missed that question. Follow your heart. Daryl, that's what it's about. Follow your heart, be happy. Heidi Toys in the house. Yeah, Heidi Toys an ass kicker. That's all I could say. She's tough. Whoop, I think I missed a question here. Oh, man. Missed somebody's training question. Drop that question. Oh, man. I missed this training question. Drop that question again, and I'll see. Do you think they are good for wrestlers football? Andrew, I missed your question, buddy. So I'll tell you this. Even though I don't know your question, you want to know what's good for every wrestler and every football player? To be strong, to be tough, to be explosive, to have more muscle on their body, to have more confidence. To me, that stuff is, that stuff's all good. Here we go, Andrew. Here's your question. Weightlifting shoes for non-weightlifting sports. Good question, buddy. Listen, we could make, many people could argue against it, right? Yesterday I read an article about, on Jim Wendler's site, I don't remember the name, but the coach was a baseball strength coach, and he said he came across, 15 years ago, Bob Aleo, who was in the majors. Now I believe he's the athletic director at NC State. He said, why is everybody so against baseball players being strong? Why are you against them lifting overhead? If they're always overhead, why not be strong in the overhead? And Louis Simmons says, when you're lifting, it's okay to have support gear. Mark Bell always told me, if you're going to, go 85, 90% over 1RM, put that weightlifting belt on. It's safety. One of the guys that's interning at my gym, he's big into weightlifting. He goes, wearing these weightlifting shoes, they actually help build up the patella tendon and the tendons of the quads and or the muscle tissue. Now, is that true or not? I don't know. But my right knee hurts a lot, and I'm willing to put on some weightlifting shoes. So I think if it helps us feel better and builds our confidence, it's good. Do I put a bar on my back on the football? There's no barbell on the wrestling mat or football field, but we use barbells. So I think, the world there's people that always want to argue and always want to kind of BS stuff and kind of, they just want to argue against everything for the sake of arguing. And those people, you'll never win with them. So this is very black and white. Does it benefit the athlete in any way and it's ethical, right? We're not giving them drugs or something. Then we should do it if it builds their confidence and makes them better. If it's a negative in any way, then let's not do it, right? Rule number 1 is do no harm. It's 2:00 here, guys, on the East Coast. I got to get going. I really appreciate everybody stopping by and asking questions and showing the love. American Wrestler ranks up with Vision Quest. All right, Daryl, I'll take you up on that. I appreciate it, guys. Much respect, and hope everybody has a safe and awesome Labor Day weekend. Peace, guys.